Hey friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm dropping in to share with you a new 12 by 12 scrapbooking layout. I included lots of hand stitching on this layout. The hand stitching creates or makes up the sunrise. I tried creating a ombre effect in my sunrise. So I started with a light yellow on every other line of the sun's rays, and then I did a darker yellow, just slightly darker, on the opposite sides of the yellow ones, and then I slowly moved into darker colors as I went around the circle, ending with orange on the far right hand side of my sunrise. I love the way this looks. I had toyed with doing mixed media rather than hand stitching, and I'm really happy I settled on the hand stitching because I don't think I'd get the same effect with the mixed media as I would the hand stitching. It'd look totally different, right? So there is no mixed media on the base of this layout, but there is going to be mixed media on the title. I'm getting to that in just a moment. Right now, I'm just placing my pictures down, kind of figuring out where they're going to stay on the layout. I do have a design over on Cricut Design Space already sorted out, so I'm following that as I create this layout. But when you're actually physically putting things down, it's a little bit different trying to get the placement correct. So that's what I'm doing here. I did decide to map my photos to some white cardstock. I showed you just a moment ago the scraps that were left. I put them back in my scrap bin because they can be used for something else. And I'm also going to mat not map my photos, but add craft foam to the backs of my photos to pop them up off of the layout base, and also so that they clear the hand stitching. Speaking of the hand stitching, I did use my Tombow Mono liquid glue to glue the pictures to the layout base, but I found they didn't want to stick really well to the stitching, even with lots of wet glue behind it. They are stuck and I don't think they'll fall off, but you'll see me throughout the video pushing them down a lot because they seem to want to just pop up off the layout. Here's the title. I cut my title with my Cricut and I just cut it from plain white cardstock, and then I decided to create an ombre effect on the title. So I used my watercolor paints, just using yellow, and saturated the bottom of the title with lots and lots of color, and then spread it out with water towards the top so you get sort of, pardon me, my alarm went off. It's time for my daughter to test her blood sugar. So I was just saying that that's how I achieved the ombre look on my title. I did add some die cut suns. It's a border from my Cricut as well, just underneath the title. They cut in two pieces, white and yellow paper. I glued them together and then plunked them there on the layout. And now I'm playing around with these acetate hearts from Ali Edwards. I sprinkled them around the photos and the title as well. My goal when creating this layout was to keep it a monochromatic color scheme. But as I was creating, especially playing with the acetate hearts from Ali Edwards, some gray snuck in there as well. So originally I wanted my layout to mostly be yellows and whites. But when I come across the gray heart, I thought it wouldn't hurt to have just a little bit more color in the layout. It's still basically monochromatic, so I thought it would be okay. I also have this little polka dot yellow heart from a very old Jelly Bean Soup sticker sheet. I end up using one of the other stickers off of that sheet as well later on. It's a yellow one and it says "Cherish This" on it. I also knew that I wanted to use another title from the Paige Evans, or a Paige Evans title sheet that I have in my stash as well. So I pulled out the word "amazing," which also happens to be yellow, which fits with my monochromatic color scheme as well. I am layering it over the middle photo, but it kind of spills over to the last photo on the very right as well, because obviously the font is too big to fit on that little 2x2 inch space, which is fine with me. They're spaced closely enough that it doesn't look odd or funny at all. I I fussy cut another heart from packaging actually that had a little bit of gray in it from Pink Fresh Studio. I've actually kept it in my stash because the packaging inside their stickers and whatnot, the ephemera, is all patterned and it's a nice weight, and so I've been using it in my stash. So I traced one of the Ellie Edwards hearts, cut it out from that paper, and then layered it behind the yellow heart down by the title, and then I added I think just one little die cut heart beside it. Originally, I was just going to use my die cut hearts that I cut with my Cricut, but as I sat down to physically put this page together, I thought to myself, why not use some of my stash? Because that's what it's there for, rather than hoarding it all. And it worked. They're a good size for what I intended them for, and I'm happy that I did get some of that stuff used up. There's my journaling. I just added a couple lines. I'm going to add the date beneath it, and then to finish this layoff off, to complete this layout, I decided to pull out some yellow stickles. I was going to use some Nuvo drops first, but decided against that and pulled out some yellow stickles, which by the way is called Sunrise, which fits perfectly with my layout about sunrises. And I created my own enamel dots in a column straight up the middle of the page. There's that other sticker that I was telling you about from the old Julie Bean Soup sticker sheet. I layered it over the hearts by the title, and that's it for me, my friends. I hope this layout inspired you. I hope it inspired you to look differently at your die cuts and think outside the box when you put your layouts together, like I did in this layout with the hand stitching instead of mixed media. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider coming back again in the future, especially if you love Cricut projects. Most of the projects that I share on this channel are Cricut centered because I love my Cricut. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and a like, and I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Bye, friends.